Everybody. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a great day in Berlin. It's a sunny, cloudy day here in Leeds, and today I'm based in UK. I'm Lavina Dsouza, and today I'll be talking about moving abroad and switching jobs. So welcome here. I hope we're all ready and geared to go ahead. And yes, let's start. To start off with, introductions, of course, and as to why I'm talking about this subject today. So, I'm Lavina Dsouza. I'm an analyst, a full time analyst. I've been an analyst for more than a decade, about 12 years, but I'm also a content creator. And I have been doing this on the side for about 7 years now. So I run two websites, continenttalk.com and Untraditional Humans. And in addition to that, I am also uh, doing a couple of side gigs. I'm a speaker, I'm a diversity advocate. So, yes, welcome to Stick and Stones, and let's get started. Right. So, overview. When you're looking to start a job abroad, look for a job abroad, or just in general, looking to move abroad and get started, one of the first things you need to keep in mind is analyzing the country and landscape. Of course, I'm going to go in depth in each of these sections, but just an overview as to what we'll be covering here. In addition to this, we'll be also talking about networking, prepping your CV, applying for jobs, and of course, one of the very important aspects that gets pushed to the side when it comes to moving abroad and working abroad, be it full time, remote, or on the side, having some side hustles, is social life and culture. So, the scenario, when you're actually you're all prepped up, you're all prepped up, you're looking for places to move, probably you're tired of Berlin weather or the cloudiness. I've been to Berlin a couple of times, and yeah, it's no different to the scenario in UK, to be honest. Maybe socially it is, who knows, but yes, weather-wise it isn't different. Maybe you're tired of that, you want to move out of Berlin, or maybe you've logged on and you're in any part of the world for that matter, and you're looking to move. Irrespective of whether you're looking for a remote job or for something full time, chances are what you know may not be the norm. So, as an analyst, a full time analyst, I've worked in about two countries full time and about two remotely. I've worked with clients across the globe, and the scenario varies so much. As a content creator, I work across the globe with clients, and the scenario is absolutely different. To give an example, when it comes to the scenario, what you know may not be the norm. So, who handles recruitment? So, when I was working out of India, the recruitment function was completely in house. They never outsourced it. They shared openings on job sites like probably Monster, and then there are a couple of others that are local to India. And it was completely handled in house. So, irrespective of what medium you chose to search for the job, you had to go to the company. So, for example, let's take Cognizant or TCS. So, you had to apply to Cognizant through their portal, and the HR function uh, team took care of the whole recruitment process. Whereas here in the UK, it varies a lot. There are a lot of mini agencies handling recruitment. So usually chances are that your CV will be sent ahead by them. You actually go through a screening process through them first. It is very rare, although it does happen, but it is very rare that the recruitment function happens in house. And then again, who leads the function? Like I said, the recruitment team, the HR team carried this out in India. Over here, it could be anybody from the talent management team to the core recruitment team, not the whole HR function. So it again varies. Why I am mentioning all of this, I will come to later, but these are a few things to keep in mind. Then the other thing to consider is whether it is remote. Uh, Another trend that is up and about, that's currently ongoing, is the digital nomad trend. Uh, for this, you don't need to really have a side job, or really have a full-time job as well, for that matter. You could actually be living anywhere and working full-time on anything, for that matter. So it is very important to consider that, since we're still in the facing a pandemic, and we're still not over it. I remember reading an article on LinkedIn that there's a huge exodus coming up, wherein people are actually going to look at having a life beyond having a job. So things like, you have to consider things like whether it is a remote job or not, irrespective of the location. And to add to that, another thing I wanted to mention was that, I remember reading in a job portal, sorry, not in a job portal, in a Facebook group, that this one lady was living in Mexico, but she had a US full time job. They did allow her to have, to work remotely, but that really didn't mean actually living someplace else. It was actually in violation of quite a few laws, and chances are she could be, even committing a crime, for that matter. So please check, policies, laws, when it comes to whether it is remote. And then, of course, which leads us to the next point: what are their policies? Policies like leave, sickness, tax, work from home scenario. Again, as an example, in India, your sick leave is deducted from your normal days of leave, whereas in the UK, your sick days are independent of your holidays. And then in some organizations, you can carry leave forward, in some you can't. You just have to make sure you use it, in the year that you're working. Sometimes as well, you're working your accounting years are different, in terms of taxation, for taxation purposes, for every organization. So sometimes it runs from December to Jan, sometimes it runs from March to Feb. So you have to think of things like that as well, for things like planning holidays, and other bits. And then, of course, one of the most important bits is the pay. So again, in Asia, the cost of living is cheaper. So if I were to convert, like the average salary for, a yearly average salary for an analyst with about 10 years of experience, I would say that's, on an average, about 10,000 to 15,000 pounds. Like, it's a very wide range. But if I were to consider the same year, it varies a lot. uh, it could be anywhere from 30,000 pounds to 50,000 pounds a year. It absolutely varies a lot. And one of the things that you need to consider when looking at what the pay is for the salary, sorry, for the job, is whether it is comparable to the expenses. Now, why it varies from 30K to 50K a year in the UK is because of expenses. You will be on the higher end of the scale if you live in regions like London, probably Manchester as well. And of course, the pay slowly decreases as you go and move towards the suburbs, which is applicable to any country you might want to work in. So you have to consider that, and you have to make sure that, even if you're already in the country and you already have a job, if you're moving to one of the metropolitan cities, that you speak to your company, to to ensure that your pay is leveled out in terms of what the average package is, at the given time in that destination. One thing that many fail to register, and something I faced a lot of issue as well when I moved to the UK, was networking. And I can't stress about this enough. So when you're planning to move, not even moved, not even have anything in place, when you have a sound plan in place, like, let's say you want to move in a year, you've started looking out, you've decided on a few countries, and probably even narrowed down the destination. So as soon as you know that, you need to start networking right away. So you need to be there, in short, everywhere in advance. How do you do that? S- Um, a few a few suggestions. First, ensure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Follow companies, update your profile, and follow recruiters. Now, another key difference that I roughly touched upon in one of the previous slides was it ensure that you know who the recruiting is done by. So when it comes to certain companies in Asia, based in Asia for that matter, or if you're going to base yourself out of Asia, chances are you don't really need to follow individuals. You really need to keep an eye out on companies. So you don't need to connect, so to say, with recruiters. You follow companies, you follow organizations on LinkedIn. But if you're talking about countries here in Europe or probably in America, then you probably need to connect with individuals. So accordingly, once you've narrowed down as to which destination you're planning to get a job in, ensure you start networking right away. Ensure you update your headline to say actively looking for opportunities in say X months. That's absolutely fine to do that as well. Ensure you beef up your profile in such a way that it targets the right keywords, which I will come to later. Another aspect of networking that you can do outside of LinkedIn is Meetup. Now, Meetup is a portal for those who are not aware, wherein you can actually have Meetup scheduled in your city for absolutely anything. You can have a Meetup for skateboarding. You can have a Meetup for people who like, gardening. But there are Meetups for actual technical conversations and finding jobs as well. Uh, and chances are you might actually find and connect with recruiters in the area. So Meetup is an amazing platform to find professional catch-ups in your town. Uh, it's easy to do so, but this is of course you have to keep in mind that this is of course when you actually get there. So if you're not already out there on LinkedIn, or you're actually trying to build a local presence, Meetup is a great place. Then Facebook. Yeah, Facebook is great for personal connections, but it is also great for professional networking as well. So it isn't really to stop people or connect with recruiters, but what you do on Facebook is actually go to the group functionality and search for expat groups over there. So what you're looking to do is start a conversation, ask around what's a good town to move to. Where can I find average salaries? um, what are the best locations to live in? What is the average cost per week for expenses, so to say? So Facebook is a great place to get started. People are more genuine, so to say. They're more casual, they're open to sharing. um, so yeah, Facebook is another great place to put out questions, and people, like, the more local the group, the more people are active, the more they're open to sharing, and you can actually drill down to the exact area that could be safe to live, probably commute to the workplace, and figure out prices as to where it will be best to stay and move to as well. Then we come to Twitter. Now, Twitter is one of my favorite tools, irrespective of what I'm doing. Uh, Chances are you're already on Twitter. Ensure that you follow companies. You follow. In this case, in Twitter, it would be recruiters, irrespective of whether the job function is being carried out by someone within the company or an agency. Follow recruiters. Uh, Build a network of recruiters in the area so that you're aware of what job openings are out there. Many recruiters even retweet other recruiters job postings, in case they're already not working on it, that is. So build a network of recruiters. Chances are you will find someone who's absolutely fit to help you with your position, and go from there. Another thing that I'd like to mention that's not on the slide is Bumble. So if I'm not, if I'm sure I'm not incorrect in saying this, a lot of people use Bumble, for dating. But in Bumble, you actually have a professional networking option, and it does tweak your profile a little. It asks you for more information about what really is your professional area of expertise, and you can actually reach out to professionals in the area, have a chat with them, connect with them, and even catch up with them once you're in the location. So Bumble is another app that you can professionally use for networking. Okay. Then we come to one of the core aspects of finding a job, which is your CV. So, again, going back to one of the previous slides, you really need to know who to send it to. As I mentioned in the previous slide, networking is a core aspect. Sorry, networking is a core aspect. And on that note, you need to ensure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Your terminologies as well may vary from country to country, specific to the job description. So, one important tip that I can share, irrespective of whether you're actually working on your CV, resume, portfolio, whatever you'd like to call it, irrespective of whether it's a Word doc, a PDF doc, or it's actually LinkedIn, go around and start looking for job descriptions on LinkedIn. Understand, like filter it by years of experience, and understand as to how the functionality is described. Understand what they're looking for. Go back and see whether you've actually worked on it. Okay, and then try to build your profile in such a way that you're covering, uh, those points that recruiters are looking for in that area. Um, an example would be, as an analyst, an example would be, wireframes. uh, there's various ways to handle wireframes. So in terms of what recruiters are looking for in that area, are you have you worked on X type of wireframe? Are you willing to learn, so that you can add it to your profile, and accordingly ensure that your job descriptions are specific to that country. They target the keywords so that search engines can actually pick your profile up when your CV is ready, and uh, go about and get around in the virtual world. One of the best tips I received when I was looking for a job abroad is ensure that you've updated your CV on job portals, LinkedIn, etc., at least 3 to 4 months in advance, because uh, a lot of the times recruiters, companies know that they have like X amount of profiles to approve, and those are going to be pushed out in, like, say, a month or so. But it always takes longer, so they know that they're in the queue, so they might take a look at your CV and probably save it to their database, and then go back to it when it's actually live. But for them to be able to save it to their database, they need to have it. So if you're looking to start looking, like get a job in the next 1 month, chances are it might be a little difficult. So ensure that your CV is having a good go around on the virtual web at least 2 months in advance of your job search. Then we come to cover letter. A lot of countries do not expect a cover letter, but then some do. Uh, Personally, I have never used a cover letter, but I do know for a fact from friends that a cover letter is quite essential in a lot of companies in America. So, cover letter, um, if you need one, what are you adding to it? How lengthy are you keeping it? Is it precise? Do you really need one? And feel free to ask these questions around in portals as well when you're networking. uh, there may be mixed opinions, but then you can definitely take a call based on the general consensus as to whether you really need one or not. And then, of course, LinkedIn. In terms of LinkedIn, I would highly suggest that your profile is up to date. You put out calls telling people you're available for work, X months in advance. You update your profile, uh, and ensure that, as I mentioned, with your CV, you ensure that your keywords are uh, you know in the right place, and it's a very transparent profile. Another thing that a lot of people fail to keep an eye out on is that LinkedIn has a setting wherein you can choose to actually have your profile public or not. So in case recruiters are looking, they will not be able to see your profile unless you've actually made it public, irrespective of whether they've connected with you or not. So that things like these, even though they're minute, are something that you could keep an eye out for. And then, of course, photos and length. In Asia, a lot of people actually have CVs that run 4 to 5 pages long. The more your experience, of course, the lengthier it gets. But here in the UK, a lot of countries in Europe, it isn't advisable. Like, you got to have your CV that's not more than 2 to 3 pages max. So how are you ensuring that your core experience, what you bring to the table, is actually compressed in those 2 to 3 pages? Uh, Ensure that you really sit down, really give a good thought to your CV, ensure you cover everything that's important to your role. Another thing that people fail to understand is that a lot of recruiters pay attention to the way your CV is formatted. I remember my line manager saying to me once that while I was a very good fit for the role, they had dismissed a lot of profiles because there were a lot of spelling mistakes in the CV, and that's quite a big no. You just can't have spelling mistakes in your CV. So things like these really have to be kept in mind. Ensure there's proper spacing. Things are not crammed in because you got to fit it in a few pages. So, and of course, photos. Some countries will not have you without a photo, but then in places like the UK, photos are absolutely not allowed because it's against the law to have pictures in your CV. So things like these need to be kept in mind. Right. Then, once you have your CV, once you know where you're moving, and you know the recruiters you need to reach out to, or the companies you need to reach out to, applications. You got to start applying. So again, as I said, your CV needs to go around the virtual web at least 2 to 3 months in advance. I would say at least start applying 2 to 3 months in advance as well. Start applying as soon as your CV is out. Uh, Attend interviews. Be happy to have introductory calls. In terms of networking as well, in the UK, I was very fascinated with the fact that people actually went out for coffee with recruiters. It was mind blowing because I was like, whoa, I can't keep doing this, but it is quite common to do so. Whereas in companies in Asia, that what happens. You're not supposed to be in touch with a recruiter because it seems like favoritism. It's absolutely not recommended to do that unless you've known them personally for a while. So the scenario varies a lot. So again, when it comes to applications, where do you apply? Like I said, in Asia, in India, it has to be the company website. So even if you're applying through a job portal like monster.com, the it is just for information purposes. And when you click on to apply, it will take you to the actual company website, um, whichever that may be. Then again, the scenario changes from country to country. So you could apply on LinkedIn as well for certain countries. Because recruiters put out their postings there and they are actually looking for CVs via LinkedIn. There are a lot of local portals that vary from country to country. Monster.com is quite popular in a lot of regions, but then I've never used it here in the UK. So it the scenario changes a lot. CareerJet is very popular in the US, so you can actually drill down by location and apply to jobs via CareerJet there. And then again, as I keep mentioning, local agencies. So when it comes to local agencies, here you actually have to apply, go to each website personally, add your CV so that they have it on their database, and do that for multiple agencies. So it's literally having a presence everywhere on LinkedIn, a company website, all of these local recruitment agencies. You actually have to go create a profile and upload your CV on each of these agencies. So it is tiring. It's comparatively easier in Asia. And then the scenario changes. So ensure that you get a look and feel about what's really happening in the destination you're looking to move, and then accordingly, ensure you apply to jobs accordingly. And then, of course, we come to the last bit, social life. Social life is quite important. Many times we forget as to how hectic it can be when applying for jobs. In Asia, when I worked in India, my job ran anywhere from 10 to 12 hours, and it was the norm. Everybody was sat in office for at least 10 to 12 hours. Whereas here, people are quite strict about timings. You got to get in on time, you got to get out in time. So, a few suggestions that I would say when it comes to social life is ensure you're not just asking about salaries or the best places to, move and, like commute time as well. Ensure you're asking about, what's the social or professional life in the region. Quora is a good place to look for answers. Glassdoor is a really good place to actually drill down on the company and look for salaries, general, like range of salaries. What's the company culture, what are they looking for, what do they stress on, how vocal are they about certain things. Of course, Facebook groups are very vocal as well about this. You can ask around what's the company culture over there, and you can of course drill it down, whether it's a tech company, whether it's a more creative company, and you can ask around. And yes, irrespective of the company, chances are the social life, the cultural life changes from region to region. So Google in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Google here in London, and Google in California uh, has a different cultural life. The policies may be the same, but the culture changes. And then, of course, tap into an expat network. It could be Facebook, it could be absolutely anything. Ensure you're fully aware of what you're getting into. And then, even if you don't get it right, it's always important not to lose heart, to ensure that you've saved enough so that even if things, there's ups and downs, things don't go right exactly the way you planned it, you get better at checking out how the environment is, and then look out for your next dream job. So yes, these are just a few things I had to share. I'm more than happy to take any questions. I will be, of course, going to the public forum, and I'd be happy to take any questions you may have. But in case you're looking to move, are unsure about what country to go to, which countries are best for remote work, digital nomads for that matter, please feel free to get in touch with me. I'm available on most social websites as Continent Hop and Continent.hop on Instagram. And yes, I hope you found this useful, and good luck for your next job search. Thank you.